Guys, I don't think you understand how much is about to kick off in the next few hours. So right now, as I'm recording, Trump is meeting with the Crown Prince of Saudi, Mohammed bin Salman, and today they're going to be signing a $1 trillion investment commitment in the United States, which actually rose in that meeting from 600 billion. Just casually, let's just add another 400 billion. What's 400 billion among friends, huh? But also happening in the next few hours, also in DC, is a hugely significant vote from the House of Representatives whether to or not release the Epstein files. And this vote has been stalled for months, only for it to be landed on the same day there is a massive global internet outage. Yes, because also happening right now, you've probably seen it already, the IT company Cloudflare, which underpins thousands of websites around the world. We're talking X, ChatGPT, Spotify, Zoom, Canva, and many more. So many people couldn't access this today. Now, they have said that the problem is being fixed, but many people are still reporting that they can't access certain apps and websites. It doesn't end there. Ronaldo, he is in Washington right now, and he is going to be having dinner and a meeting with Donald Trump literally in the next couple of hours. And they're going to be speaking about the World Cup, world peace, and apparently what they have in common. Love to know what that is. Looking forward to that. But then also it doesn't end there, because Nicki Minaj, she's going to be delivering a speech to the United Nations at their headquarters in New York. What a wild world. She said that she's going to be working alongside the Trump administration to highlight the claims of Christian persecution in Nigeria. All of that happening right now. Holy hell! A new study has found that raccoons are showing early signs of domestication. Dogs, you may have competition. Now, the study conducted at the University of Arkansas suggests that raccoons living in urban areas in North America are physically changing in response to life around humans. Now, the researchers suggested that domestication starts when wild animals start hanging around humans and adapt on their own, rather than us domesticating them. Dogs hung around ancient garbage piles and cats showed up for the mice that followed. But in this process over hundreds of years, physical changes were also observed: shorter snouts, smaller heads, floppy ears, and white patches of fur. This pattern, which is noted all the way back in the 1800s, is called the domestication syndrome. And raccoons in the Big 25 and before GTA 6 might have that syndrome. Of the 20,000 raccoons observed across the US, researchers discovered that the ones living in the city have shorter snouts than the ones living in rural areas. Bro, what even is this year?
I have just arrived to the craziest city on earth, and you probably have never even heard about it.
This is Chongqing, China, where they have petrol stations on top of roofs, trains that run through residential buildings, buses in the sky, elevators for cars, multi-story restaurants floating on the river, and also the deepest subway in the world. It goes down 118 meters, which is roughly the height of a 39-story building, and it took me 15 minutes just to get to the bottom. But the craziest part?
We're still on the ground floor.
You see, the reason people call Chongqing the 5D city is because it served as China's World War II capital. All of those old underground bomb shelters have since been transformed into roads, basements, and buildings. So, good luck finding your way around. Here, you think I'm on the ground floor, right? Wrong, because if you go to one side, you'll see you're on level 1. And if you go to the other side of the square, you're now on level 18. And almost everywhere in the city is like this. Here, we're on the 14th floor, and the elevator even shows you that. But if you walk outside, you're now on the ground floor again. And if you think simply walking around the city is confusing, try driving. One wrong turn on these roads and you're cooked. You might even find yourself accidentally entering the garage that is 500 meters to the bottom. Yes, I'm still driving down as I post this video. Bro, no one saw this coming. Ronaldo and Trump meeting today. Yeah, apparently he's been invited to the White House, but the craziest part is that sources say Ronaldo was the one who requested the meeting. Now, this information comes from a White House correspondent, Jake Traylor, who says that 3 White House officials have confirmed it to him and it's happening. This would also make sense because also today, the Saudi's crown prince, Mohammed bin Salman, he's expected to go there as well. So maybe ride in the same private jet, who knows? And there's also, coincidentally, all the pieces are kind of adding up. It's just a week after he had an interview with Piers Morgan, and he said that he likes and respects Trump, and that if he gets the chance to speak with him, he'd talk with him about world peace and tell him what they have in common. It's gonna be a busy day. I'll keep you guys updated. Okay guys, some absolutely stunning breaking news. The Prime Minister of Bangladesh, who was in power for over 15 years, has just been sentenced to death. Now, as you guys remember, last year we covered those huge protests that the country had, which ultimately led to the overthrowing of the government and Sheikh Hasina, their prime minister, having to literally flee the country. She's now in India. And we're talking like the protesters broke into her palace, filmed themselves, and they posted online them destroying the place, eating her food from the kitchen. But now, over a year later, a court in Bangladesh has just found her guilty of various crimes against humanity after she ordered a crackdown on those protests, which ultimately led to the death of 1,400 people. And I mean, look at the court breaking into celebration as the death penalty was read out. This is a historic moment in the country's history. Now, Sheikh Hasina has called the court verdict biased and politically motivated. As things develop, I'll keep you guys updated. Massive news for the unemployed gamers. GameStop have just announced their first ever trade-in anything day, where you don't need money, you simply need to trade in any personal belongings and they will give you back store credits. How does this not end in catastrophe? Now, the company has always had a trade-in system for old games and consoles, but on the 6th of December, if it can fit into a box of this size, they'll take anything. Or maybe not quite everything, because there's a couple of very specific items that they won't take, including ammos, weapons, dead or alive animals. However, taxidermied animals are okay. Drugs, sexual and explicit items, hazardous waste. I think you get the point. Now, what GameStop is going to be doing with all of these random items, or how they will value these items, is completely unknown. 25 girls were abducted from their school yesterday, and you probably have never even heard about it. At about 4 a.m. at a boarding school in northwest Nigeria, a group of armed men scaled the walls and started rounding up girls from their hostel. The school's vice principal was shot and killed while trying to protect some of the students, and another staff member sustained gunshot wounds. The girls were marched into nearby bushlands and have never been seen since. And to make matters even worse, this is not even that rare. Earlier last year, over 200 pupils were kidnapped, and over the past 10 years, many schools have been targeted in order to demand a ransom from the government. In fact, things have gotten so bad that in 2022, the government had to pass a bill outlawing ransoms. In fact, you can even be jailed for 15 years if you are caught paying a ransom to free someone who is being kidnapped. Now, police have launched a search and rescue operation for the 25 girls, and their parents have been informed. As the situation develops, I'll keep you guys updated. There has just been a huge twist in the David case, and it kind of goes against everything we thought we knew. So an anonymous LAPD source spoke to NBC4 and revealed that David has now been identified as a suspect in relation to the death of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas. But that's just one day after TMZ reported the complete opposite. They said that police weren't close to making an arrest in this case. But it gets even crazier, because according to the same source, the 20-year-old singer is reportedly not cooperating with this investigation, despite his PR team saying otherwise the entire time. Not only were Celeste's dismembered remains found in the trunk of his impounded Tesla back in September, but now investigators suspect that more than one person was likely involved in the disposal of her body. And reports also now claim that partly the reason why an arrest hasn't been made yet is because they're still trying to determine her cause of death. They don't even know if this was a homicide yet. But if that LAPD source is true, then it is not looking good for David. But of course, I'll keep you guys updated as we know more. Okay, major breaking news. It actually happened. The House of Representatives just overwhelmingly voted in favor of releasing the Epstein files. It was a massive 427 in favor and 1 against. Only 1. So that was Congressman Clay Higgins of Louisiana, who is a staunch ally of Donald Trump. Only 1. That's rough. Now, five members did choose to not vote. Now, technically, the only thing stopping these from being released now is the Senate, because it should go to Donald Trump, and he said, that